Welcome along to your December edition of the Patreon Rundown here on the Square Circle Red X podcast free feed. Going to be running through what we have had on our Patreon feed over the last couple of months. Starting off, first of all, we had Billy Celio with us here on the Square Circle Red X podcast for his 6th edition here on the show. We're talking all things AEW game news. Now, although this was available on the free feed in a two-parter, we did have this as a single one-part show, and this went out a week earlier on our Patreon feed than it did on the normal feed here. If you want to listen to that one, it is available down in the free feed as two parts. But here's a quick clip of Billy talking all about whether the quads and triples are case hits.
Are the dual, triple autos, quad autos, are they case hits so you can get one per case? Potentially.
Not all of them.
I told you.
There are some that aren't. Like, I read that comment. I read the comment and I wanted to comment back on it, but we really don't talk about case hits like that kind of way. Like, I'll probably give you guys a little bit of info, but there are quads, triples, duals that aren't. I believe there's a quad that's not even a case hit, and I know there's definitely triples or duals. I was very I collect this stuff. I follow the values of these guys and the cards and the autos. And what's funny is sometimes the biggest wrestlers aren't necessarily the case hits. So I really kept that in mind when I was deciding, okay, what's going to be. So there's going to be some cases where you might get like a Cope and Kenny Omega and a Sting, and then maybe Orange Cassidy or something like that, like all in one case, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got like all these great wrestlers. And I think two of the names I just said were case hit type cards. Of the 37 either dual, triple, or autos, and that doesn't include the hard sign, of the 37 of those, I would say not even a third are considered case hits.
And then we had Billy talking all about the quads and triple autos. Now, also in the month of November, Lloydie and Chris got down to talk all about Top's Finest. Now, this was a set which was released back in September. This was recorded in late October and put out the first weekend in November on our Patreon feed. Again, this show went on for just under an hour, talking all things Top's Finest, breaking down the set in a lot more detail. And here's them talking all about the full segment insert set.
Full segments, 10 cards. One in every 15 packs, refractors every 30 packs, checkable refractors 60 packs, die cut refractor 75, 134 packs, gold refractor to 50, 201 packs. Why 201? Black refractor to 25, 406, red refractor to 5, 2020, and super fractor yet again 9,696. I've seen loads of these pulled. Like, compared to the turn, I've seen a lot more of these full segments come out
on
of
the opposite
product.
I haven't watched
really?
a lot of this though. I'm on about my third or fourth YouTube video, and yeah, I've seen more of the turn.
Oh wow, I'm surprised because I see these like come out regularly.
Yeah, you've seen more of it than me,
yeah.
So I trust your word.
But I don't think I've seen a 101 pulled out. I've definitely seen 5s pulled out of it and 25s and stuff like that. They're okay. These are like the
talk show.
Yeah, the odder stuff that you would see, basically. Like Shawn Michaels on a bed and Jake the Snake Pit and stuff like that. I think it's cool as an insert.
I think it's a cool concept. I just don't think it's been pulled off very well.
Well, the thing is, because it's a sideways card, and I don't think a lot of people like the horizontal to the vertical.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of the time it works. There's a lot of negative space on there, especially with the design.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as a throwaway insert, it's not too bad.
Yeah, as I said, I like the idea of it. I just think it could have been done a little bit better.
And then we have Chris and Lloydie talking all about Top's Finest. Now, for our November edition of Squared Roots, we were joined by Tim Walter. Many people will know him across Whatnot as Timmy Tuwo. He's actually a local football fan as well, fan of Cambridge United, same as myself. So we caught up on our Patreon feed to talk all about his top 5 tracks and top 5 cards that he would take on the virtual road trip. Think Desert Island Disc, but for wrestling cards. Now, Tim was with us for just under an hour talking all about his 5 cards, mainly a Legends collector, but here's him talking about him getting back into wrestling and being a fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin and also picking one of his musical tracks. Mate, I'm a bit jealous. That's really nice. That's really nice. Well, if you ever did need a part with it, just always hit me up, But no, it's a great card to have. And again, obviously, you mentioned you stopped watching around 2000. I guess Austin would have been one of your last champs before you then moved away from wrestling, really.
Yeah.
And was this going to your next track in that case? And so our second to last track, what are we going in next for?
Going for a bit of a punk track. One of my sisters was a hardcore punk back in the day, and we went to a reunion tour for the Sex Pistols in 2007. And this Submission, that's my favourite tune by them.
And then just a quick clip there from Tim, who was our guest on Squared Roots in November. Now, if you would like to take part in Squared Roots, this is open to all Tier 2 members of our Patreon group, where they can come onto the show and they can pick their top favourite 5 cards and 5 musical tracks to take us on that virtual card route. And that's him talking a little bit detailed about coming back into wrestling after stopwatching in the early noughties. Now, for December, we have lots of shows available for you. Our Christmas special went out nearly 10 days early compared to the free feed. So if you're listening to this now, the Christmas edition hasn't yet landed, but this was available last Friday for the patrons, just because we want to try and get ahead for Christmas. But you'll see the normal show on Monday. We have got 2 editions of Squared Roots for you for this month, as there is no set review for you this December. So we are going to be giving you 2 editions of Squared Roots, and we've got special editions for you this month. So we're talking to Chris and the President. So I've got a show which landed this past week with Chris, where we talk about his favourite 5 cards and 5 musical tracks. He took us back to the 90s in a Ford Escort, so we'll be talking all about that. And then the President, he took a little bit of presidential rules with this one. He actually ended up taking 8 musical tracks, so giving you an hour and a half's worth of content for you there. But that landed this week on the Patreon feed. So again, that is available for both members of the Tier 1 and Tier 2, and you'll see them both in the feed now. Now, if you are a member of the Patreon, or you want to become a member of the Patreon, we have just dropped a competition. Now, we are giving away a very special Kurt Angle autograph card. You may have seen it on our Instagram feed if you are on Instagram. If not, you can get involved with this now. Simply sign up to any member of the Patreon tier and be a valid member during February, and you will then have the chance to get into the draw. Now, this is a very limited card. It is only available. There's 1 we are giving away. The other 3 we had done, we are keeping as presenters, and you will have the chance to get the other 1. So if you want to get into this draw, again, just sign up to our Patreon feed, be a valid member by the time we do the draw in February, and that card could be yours. As always, we have 2 tiers. The Tier 1, £4 gets you in the door, gets you all the bonus shows and early access. Tier 2 gives you all the perks of Tier 1, plus you get our bi-monthly card, plus you also get the ability to vote on shows and also be a part of our shows as well. But I'll give you more updates of what we have on our December feed in our January edition of the recap of our Patreon feed. Have a great Christmas, and I'll see you here in the new year.